Hello and welcome back. So, title of this video is The Expert Equation, Becoming an Expert. And basically in this episode, I just want to talk about how I plan on becoming an expert. And so I did a deep dive on this to truly find out what really makes an expert in today's market, especially in the digital world, what it really entails to become an expert. And so after much study, I found that there was a method to the madness. And I came across this in a book called But I'm Not an Expert by Mira Coughlin. And I actually got it from another book about how to create blog topic ideas or something like that. Now, anyway, so what I found was the expert equation is an equation of how you can become an expert, well, obviously, but it needs variables. Like every recipe needs ingredients. So the three main variables that I discovered, and they are knowledge, authority, marketing, and sales. So I like to call them CAMs for sure. That is knowledge, K, authority, A, marketing, M, and sales, S. So CAMs for sure. And so as simple as it sounds, I can tell you for sure that it goes on to become something way deeper than just something that you'd think of in the surface. So CAMs blueprint is just an overview. I'm just going to give you like the basic highlights of what it really entails. And then over the next few episodes, over the next few months or weeks, I'm just going to go into each and every single one of them as I continue to kind of share what I've discovered about each and every single variable of this expert equation and how you can use the same to become an expert in whatever field that it is that you're doing. Now, I try to make this as simple as possible to become as easy to digest as possible. You don't want to get any indigestion to this, and kind of reduce the overwhelm and anxiety and stress and the frustration, because you find that a lot of the times you get overwhelmed by the things that you need to do, the amount of work that goes into studying or becoming an expert, or even just just starting a YouTube channel and publishing. You feel like there's a lot of information that you need to learn, and a lot of the times that actually becomes an obstacle because a lot of the times the module is too huge. Sometimes people even give up before they even start the trail. And so I decided to make this as easily digestible as possible, whereby you can get a few minutes each and every single day. And as you continue to take action, as I am, you will see results and progress. And so the goal here is to reduce the overwhelm, to make it as simple as possible. That way, it's easily digestible. You can reduce the overwhelm, anxiety, stress, and frustration, so that you can start taking action as soon as possible. Let's use the analogy of eating, a giant plate of food. And so if let's say you're on an eating competition or something like that, and you absolutely had to, well, the easiest way to finish is just taking it one spoonful at a time. Or, so that's kind of like the basic or the easiest way to do this. So if you have a ton of dishes on in the kitchen, the best way to clear them out is just do one dish at a time. And so so we're just using the same analogy whereby we're just doing it one spoon at a time. I'm just going to give you one spoon at a time. And your job is to just take the spoon, eat it, and do something with it, to digest it or something, and actually take action on it. Because here's the thing. A lot of dreams died because of a lack of taking action. Most people are not afraid of failure. I remember hearing this or reading this somewhere that most people aren't afraid of failure. They're afraid of trying. And the reason or the logic behind that one, I still haven't found what it is, but that's the main logic. And so with that in mind, as unprepared as I am, I'm taking action each and every single day. And I hope you guys can join me as well, even as you listen to this. So the first variable here is knowledge. And so let's first of all get the definitions out the way. So if you do a quick search in Google, here's what you're going to find, the Google definition for what knowledge is. It talks about facts. It talks about information. It talks about facts, information, skills acquired through experience or education. Then it goes on to say that the theoretical or practical understanding of a subject. So that's pretty much what knowledge is. So when you're talking about knowledge, you talk about, certain facts, certain information about a certain subject area, certain skills that you've acquired, certain skills that you've acquired about a certain area through certain experience or education, whether both theoretical and practical understanding of a subject. Now, I remember when back in the days when I was in university, and I was studying medical biotechnology. And so there are a couple of things that we had to go through. And so there were certain facts about the body that we had to learn. So we started with the basics. So that includes like human anatomy, cell biology, human embryology, and some of these things are just basic information. So they're basic facts whereby they do not change. And then there's basic information whereby it is the information itself. I don't know how to describe the information. It's basically, I guess you call it data or something like that. And then over time, what happens is we started doing we started acquiring certain skills relevant to that information. So whereby you can be able to tell, okay, certain diseases come from certain problems or certain biological conditions, whereby you acquire certain skills. And even as we did our lab works, whereby you would test different, like antigens for finding out what kind of blood group you were and some of those things. And so we acquired certain skills through experience, first of all, by actually doing the practicals, and through education. And this is where comes the theoretical part of of information or knowledge, whereby you first of all study and then you go into a practical. And so the education comes with the theoretical part, and then the experience kind of usually comes in a lot with the practical to give you the practical understanding of a certain subject matter or certain area of study. And so the second definition that I found of knowledge is very apt for this situation, for this knowledge area, is the awareness or familiarity gained by experience of a fact or a situation. Okay, so I can teach you about, let me just give you a basic example. I can teach you how, how to change a tire. I can show you this, how you change a tire. So you just use this, you use your jack, you use this spanner, you unlock the screws on your tire and whatnot. But the level of knowledge or, the awareness or familiarity that you will have about the matter is only surface level until you actually do it by yourself. That way you will know. Sometimes it's difficult. Sometimes you have to stand on the on the spanner to actually make it turn around, because it's really very tightly tightened. And sometimes, you have to be prepared to change the tire. That means you need to have a spare ready at all times. You need to have a mechanic's number or AAA number, whatever it is. And so you find that the awareness or the familiarity gained by experience of a fact or situation is also a bit close relative or a close definition to what knowledge is. And so now you notice the keywords here in all these definitions, whereby certain things have come into light, whereby you have facts, you've got information, you've got skills, you've got experience, you've got education. And, all these have to bring together a certain level of awareness or familiarities. That way, something is no longer new to you. Now, in this expert equation, knowledge is the foundation or the bread and butter of everything we're going to do here. Because here's the thing, there's no way you're going to get to do anything valuable without knowledge. Okay, the doctor is paid for the knowledge that he has. The dentist is paid for the knowledge that they have. Your lawyer is paid for the knowledge that they acquired. Your marketer is paid by the knowledge that they have. And so you find that the minimum points of parity or the basic level needs that you have, basically, like, to even function in this world, is you need like education, maybe from when you were a child until when you finished high school. So you need a certain level of education to actually function in this world. Otherwise, with the lack of that education, it's going to be very difficult for you to find your place in this world. And so it kind of applies the same way, by the knowledge that you acquire, whatever subject area it is, becomes the foundation or the bread and butter of everything that you're going to do. And so if you're a cook, you actually do need to know how to cook a few things. If you're teaching people how to work out, how to build muscles, you actually do need to know, some of the basic elements of bodybuilding. You need to know what the bench press is, the hammer curls are. You need to know these things. If you're teaching piano music, at the very least, you need to know maybe how to read sheet music and how to actually play the piano. If you're teaching art, you need to be able to know, some of the basic principles of art and how to draw. And so you find that the knowledge here is the foundation of the bread and butter of everything you're going to do here. And so without that one, the rest can't even come into place. They won't even fall into place. And so it's like the initial domino that needs to kind of fall for the rest to actually fall into place. And so without knowledge, you won't be able to generate authority. Without authority, you won't be able to market yourself and do sales properly. And so knowledge is the foundation. And so basically you add value to the market with what you know. So you contribute to people's problems as you help them to kind of find the solutions that they're looking for the problems that they have. And so you basically add value with what you know. And so basically you're taking them from a problem to a solution. And most people are paid because of this. The lawyer is paid because he knows the constitution and how to navigate his way through the court system that way to get you the verdict or the result that you want. The doctor knows that when you say certain symptoms, that what the symptoms indicate. And so they give you a prescription or certain tests for you to get run in the laboratory, or for an X-ray or for a CT scan or whatever, so that you can find out what the problem is. But without this knowledge, what you're doing is you're basically walking in darkness, so to speak. There's nothing that can guide you to get the outcome that you're looking for. And so most people are paid actually for this. So this is the minimum point of parity. And the reason people will look for you is because of this knowledge. But knowledge in itself takes time to develop and also evolves with time. But we're going to go into more details about that on a later video. But for now, I just need to understand that knowledge itself takes time. And so you need to invest in this continually and constantly for the rest of your life. That way you will never, you're not going to become a dinosaur. Yes, people evolved from, Like the same way that the businesses that did not invest in the internet over the past decade or so, most of them have died out because this is the thing about the market. It constantly evolves and you have to be able to ride the wave as it continues to evolve. Otherwise, you're going to be left behind and then you're going to become a dinosaur. And so that's the most important thing for you to realize is that you need to constantly invest in knowledge. I cannot stress this enough. And so this is the foundation of everything that you're going to be doing moving forward. And so if you haven't already started, you need to start acquiring books, whatever courses that you've already got, you start reading them, you start consuming them, you start listening to people who've already done it, already successful. And in whatever niche it is that you're doing, that way you're able to acquire a certain level of knowledge that when people come to you for help, you're not going to draw a blank, but you're going to be able to help them solve whatever problem that they're having. And so so that's the first bit, knowledge. Now, the second variable here is authority. And this revolves around a quick definition on this on Google. You find that authority talks about the power to influence others, especially because of one's commanding manner or one's recognized knowledge about something. Now, I want you to look at the second part, whereby because of one's recognized knowledge about something. And so you realize that the reason why I was telling you that the foundation of becoming an expert is the knowledge that you have, because that's how you can build authority. Because of one's recognized knowledge about something, that's how you build authority. Now, when you do this, when you develop knowledge about a certain area, about a certain subject matter, what happens is you end up becoming a trusted voice on a subject. And so when people need help on a certain area or a certain topic, they can easily come to you for help. And so when you have a toothache, you don't go, if your wife is not a dentist, you don't go to your wife, you go to a dentist that you know. If you have a lawyer problem, you don't go to your friend who's not a lawyer, but you go to a lawyer who actually knows about what it is that they're talking about. And so you find that because they've already developed that capacity or that knowledge so you're able to tap into that information by consulting them. And so that's what happens. So you become a trusted voice on a certain subject. And so you become the go-to person and you can easily describe. And the beauty of this is because of having that interaction with people having a similar problem or a problem that you've acquired knowledge to solve. The good thing about it, and one of the biggest benefits, you become the go-to person for it. And as you continue to help them, you're able to easily describe people's problems and recommend solutions. And this is, most people undervalue, or I cannot overstate the importance of this, being able to easily describe the problems and recommend solutions. Now, if you ever went to somebody before and you find that, somebody's gone through a certain problem or a certain issue, and they truly understand how you feel, right? It's a very rare thing, because a lot of the times people just looking to get heard and actually be understood what it is that they're going through. And so you find, like, at the time I was having, stomach problems, I used to go to this doctor and to that doctor, but most people couldn't really understand what it is that I was going through. And even them and the diagnosis that they were giving me was not really sufficient to actually tackle the problem that I had. And so it was until I met a doctor or a consultant who was able to kind of clearly elaborate or describe the problems that I was going through and some of the issues that I was facing, that I was able to feel heard. And as I listened to them and actually did what they recommended, I started getting better. And so you find this especially in a lot of the abstract issues of life, especially when you're having marital problems. For instance, if you're having marriage problems, maybe your wife doesn't listen to you, and then you go to a therapist and you tell them about your wife not listening to you and whatnot. But the problem is, you find that unless the person has actually gone through the issue, they're not able to clearly articulate or clearly relate with you. And so a lot of the times, the person that you end up going to, you end up sticking with somebody who can actually or easily relate with you. And so this is one of the benefits of becoming an authority, because one is recognized knowledge about something makes you to become an authority on the matter. And this is what most people perceive as being an expert. And so there are 3 levels to becoming an authority, there are 3 ways to becoming an authority. That means now the 3 ways to become an authority is you first of all build, and the next thing is you borrow, and then you actually become, or you be the authority. But we'll cover that in more details in a later episode. For now, I just want you to give you a highlight of some of the main variables that are involved here. That way you can understand what makes up the expert equation. And the third variable, a quick definition of it. So you're just going to do a simple definition of what marketing is and what sales is. So marketing is pretty much building awareness of who you are and what you stand for, while sales is turning that awareness or that audience into paying customers. And so you realize so you already acquired the knowledge base that you need. Okay, so you've consumed a ton of books, you've read, like you're going to the university, whether you're an MBA or, a programmer or a computer science or a nurse or whatever, you've built up the knowledge. But here's the thing. So once you build up the knowledge, the other thing that happens is you start getting authority because you start getting recognized that you know. So you once, as you talked about, the definition of authority is where one's recognized knowledge about something, and so you get recognized. So if you're the nurse in your household or the doctor in your home, people start recognizing you when you graduate, like as a doctor, as a full-fledged doctor. So one's recognized knowledge about something. But this is a problem: is the people who know this are a small, tight-knit circle around your life, and try as you might, even as many people as you're trying to encounter and build relationships with, there's a limiting factor in how many people that you can meet and actually advertise yourself as a doctor and still have actually time to become a doctor. And so this is where marketing and sales come in. And so the first thing is you do is marketing. That's why it's kind of like promoting your authority, so to speak. Is building awareness, letting people know who you are, what you stand for, and what you can do for them. And that's pretty much what marketing is. And then sales usually comes in a bit later on, whereby after you kind of built up that awareness, people know who you are, they know that you're a doctor, that you can help them with their problems. And so what happens next is they actually turn to you for advice. And sometime in the future or later on, they start seeking you for, they start paying you for your services. And so they start, like paying you or promoting your business and your consultancy or whatever it is that you're doing. And so we find that sales is actually turning that awareness of that audience into paying customers. And so sales usually come later on, but marketing is sort of the linchpin. So we have like the knowledge is the foundation, marketing is the linchpin that connects, the knowledge and authority bit, and so kind of connects it, and then sales actually makes it profitable for you, that we don't do it for free, and you actually end up earning a living, and you can actually make enough money to do whatever it is that you want to do with your life. And so you find that the three are variables that work together to help you make you an expert. So that's why I call them the expert equation, whereby, that's why it's a very apt title, calling it the expert equation, because there's an equation whereby you need the first variable being knowledge, the second variable being authority, the third knowledge being marketing and sales. And so just call it, for expert is equals to CAMS, that by K is for knowledge, A is for authority, M is for marketing, and S is finally for sales. And so sales usually come later on. So the first thing that we need to invest in, or we're going to be doing over the next few months, is investing in our knowledge and building up authority in our marketing. But first, I'm going to teach about knowledge over the next couple of videos. And that way, after that, we can talk about authority and how you can build authority. And then after that, we'll talk about marketing. And so we'll find that at the end, hopefully by the end of in a couple of months, you'll be able to understand, how all things, the big picture here and how everything fits together to actually kind of make you the expert that you want to be. And the same strategy that I'm using, and so I'm not hiding anything, I'm sharing everything as I'm learning. And so I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you for listening, and thank you for your time. Take care. Bye.